Yes, welcome back. Program ya failure ya number 62D. Tuli mkuzimba pyramid singa tulaba. Pyramid ya failure etandika na 1 nezako 00 nezako 111 nezako 00 then 11. So it means it goes on increasing per row. So wakubuza nga pyramid osoka kuanalyzing nga pyramid kiki bakubuza. So etandika ne 1 nezako 00 nezako 111 nezako 000 nezako 1111. Like that. What wegende kula. So per row, that's the number it increases with. Alright, so katujizimbe lero tulabe how we can implement that logic. Tugenda kugula editor yafajita dev C++. Shall come here and we say dev C++. We open it. We go on file to check on new, then source file. We come here and say hash include stdio.h. Okay, so in a header file, tuyambako okufuna input okuva eri user n'okudisplaying output gyali. So tugenda kugulawo gye bayita main function. We shall come here and say int main. So in a main function ye containing a code waffe yenna main tugenda okukozesa okuzimba eno system. So in between these curly brackets, that's where we are going to implement our code. We shall come here and say for int I, comma j. Wait away fanana. We shall come here and say for twetaaga loops ziri bbiri ensonga lwaki tudeclare linze wano I ne j. So tugenda kukozesa I mu loop ya outer loop, then j in the inner loop. We shall come here and we use what we call for loops. So we shall come here and say for I equals to 1. Then we shall come and say I is less than or equal to 5, then I plus plus. The reason why we have begun with 1 because we are having 5 rows. So now we take what they had asked us in our question. It ends on this row. So we're having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are having 5 rows. So in outer loop, we are beginning with the first row and we are going not exceeding more than 5 rows. Singa what was there like 6 rows. Here we would have put a 6 or a 7. So this is a 5. One out with the 5 rows. So on each row to print the formatting away the row is okay in one, row in 0 0, row in 1 1 1 1. So to print this format, we shall be using the inner row. And array is okay just to print rows, but to print the values, we are using an inner row, an inner loop, which is the j loop. We shall come here and we say for before actually opening this loop, we shall declare here a variable called value. And a value where it is used. We shall come and say if I in anyone loop here, we shall come and say if I modulus 2 equals to 1, open brackets, we shall say here value, we assign it to the 1. So kitegeeza loop yaffe esooka tuyambako printing a row. Egenda kutuyambako n'okudefininga gye tuyise value. Tugenda kuba tukinyonyola wansi nga tumaze okugizimba program number. Else, so come and say else value is equal to a 0. Okay, tuvudde awo tugenda kukirira wansi mu loop yaffe gye twagambye tuyambako printing a value. So we shall say here for j equals to 1. Kubanga singa wetegereza bulungi, we are beginning with a 1. So we shall say for j equals to 1, then we shall say j is less than or equal to I. We come here and say j plus plus. So we shall be printing these values that we have in a j loop. We shall come here and we say percentage d comma value. Alright. We shall come just below this and we say here printf /n. Alright. So basically code here we shall end it by saying a return 0. Okay, so to analyze code here, so beginning here tutandise waggulu, we declared what we call a header file. And a header file twagambye etuyambako okufuna input okuva eri user n'okumudisiplayingira output eya code waffe ku screen. Otuvudde awo tuguddewo gye bayita main function. And main function yecontaininga code waffe yenna gwe tukozesezza ozimba pattern eno gye tugenda okulaba gye batubuuzizza. Alright, to proceedings ne batudeclaringa variables bbiri. Variable esooka bagiyita I, variable eyokubiri bagiyise j. So eno variable esooka eya I etuyambako printing rows. Remember, we are having 5 rows. This is the first row, the second row, the third row, the fourth row, and the fifth row. So whenever the rows are being specified, we can easily assign a number to them. So what was the rows about the turn? And so for I is less than or equal to 5. Kubanga was specifying the number of rows that was required. Otuvuda twaka kudetermininga nti n1 0 0 1 1 1 0 0. So zine number but determiningira kutya okuzizimba. So these numbers are determined using what we call the value variable. So in the value variable atugideclare inside the I loop etandika tayina value na etandikira ku 0. So we shall come here and say for I, if I, which for example now I is equal to 1, if I modulus 2, the remainder is equal to 1, we shall assign it with a 1. If the remainder is a 0, we shall, or any other number, we shall assign it a 0. So in a value of etanically, it has nothing. For example, we shall come here and we say if I at first is a 1, we shall come and say if I divide I modulus 2 and the remainder is equal to 1. For example, I have 1. So if I divide 1 modulus 2, do I get a remainder as a 1? So basically, we get a remainder as 1. It will get as 1. So we shall assign the value 1 to this variable. If the remainder is not equal to 1, our remainder is equal to, for example, 2 over 3 over 4, any other value, we shall get 0 and assign it to value. For example, if I say here 2 modulus 2, the remainder will be a 0. So it means here the value variable it will equal to a 0. So here the second values will be 0 0. Then the third value will be 1 1, like that. So whenever the remainder we get to funye, it is a 1. For example, if we say 3 modulus 2, the remainder it will be a 1. So it means we shall be printing a 1 1 1 like that. So as long as remainder get to funye 1, we shall assign a 0 to the value variable. Basically, the logic here aliwo. Otuvaawo tujja kujjamu eno loop yaffe ya j. Eno loop ya j etuyamba just repeating numbers. For example, it begins with 1. When I increases to 2, it means it will print 0 2 times. When it increases to 3, it will print 3. It will print 1 3 times, like that. Alright, basically yeyo program yaffe wefaanana. At last kano ka /n katuyambako ku indatinga nti if you don't put a /n, zine numbers zonna ziba zijja kugira ku line emu pattern yaffe egana okuva. That's why we added this /n. Return zile together compiler yaffe nti program yaffe ebeere eweddeyo. We shall come to file, save as, and wagise number 62 d.c. Come here and we save. So come here to execute, compile and run. Okay, so as to geo kano right, okay, a big deal. We come here to file and save again, execute, compile and run. Okay, this has to be together. Right to geo we save and we execute, compile and run. So no errors. Alright, so pattern ejjanga ebatubuuziza, it begins with a 1, it brings 2 zeros, it brings 3 ones, like that. So egenda increasing nga ebatubuuziza ddala mu kibuuzo wano in our question, which was D. So it goes up to that pattern. So enayagala yiga programming, subscribe ku YouTube channel yaffe eyitibwa Ugandan Programmer. Then nayagala muzimbira systems ez'enjawulo, e-commerce, school management system, n'esigadde, you can reach out to us from our YouTube channel. Thank you for following.